Today we're gonna do a fun kitchen experiment. And like the nature of all good experiments, it could either succeed or fail, or hoping that it succeeds. So what I have here is a turkey breast, and if you're like me, I really like to buy the turkey breast and prepare it for the holidays because to me it's just an easier thing to manage. I don't have to worry about, a whole turkey, well not whole turkey because you'll be eating most of it, right? Hopefully. But a big turkey taking up too much space in your fridge if it's leftovers. With this, easy to prepare. You slice it up and you serve it with wherever the rest of the meal is. But typical ways is, you baste it, you roast it, and dice it. What I want to do today is cut it open and flavor it up with some of these seasonings that I have here. I have some pimento, I have some ginger, some garlic, shadow benny, and rosemary. And I'm going to use that to season up the bird and stuff it. Now, it's a type of, a roulade approach that I'm doing, but with a roulade, they would add more, like sweet peppers, and you might add like, spinach, or, some people might even add squash and that kind of thing to make it, more like a meal. I'm not really going for a meal finish here. What I'm going to do is really just use these aromatics and these herbs to flavor the bird so that they get a real nice flavor going right through. Because I guess a problem most people have with these, turkey breasts is that while they might like the convenience of it, they find that they don't really have much flavor when they cook it. So hopefully we could use these aromatics and these herbs to flavor up this bird and have a whole new approach to cooking a turkey breast. So without further ado, I know I talk a lot there, but without further ado, let me jump in. So the first thing I'm going to do is prepare our stuffing, which is the seasoning blend. And if you look at the lineup of ingredients that I have here, it's a typical Trini green seasoning that I'm going for. I'm using the rosemary because rosemary is more of a, international herb when it comes to seasoning turkeys, and combining that with the shadow benny or the culantro to give it that local flavor. I'm just going to rough chop these pimentos, and by all means, if you want to go for a real spicy kick, you could use Scotch bonnet pepper as well here. Rough cut on the ginger. I have 1 head of garlic here, approximately about 12 cloves. I'm just going to give a rough chop to the shadow benny. And I have some rosemary that I'm just going to remove the leaves from the stem. And basically that's it for our seasoning that's going to flavor the bird. Just adding the herbs to the food processor. So now we're going to grind this up until it forms a paste. All right, nice, we're looking good. So now I want to add about 1/4 cup of olive oil. And the olive oil is going to help keep the turkey breast moist while it bakes. All right, looking good here and smelling real good. And with the addition of the olive oil to the mix, it's almost like we make a Trini pesto here. That's what it's smelling like, as you can have vibe that I get from it. So I know that this is going to give real amazing flavor to the turkey breast. All right, so there we have it, our Trini pesto with the pimento, ginger, garlic, shadow benny, and the rosemary. So now that we have this deliciousness going on here, it's time to move on to the next step, which is prepping the turkey breast. Okay, so this is where the experimentation phase really begins. Now, I have never opened up a turkey breast like this before, so I have no idea what to expect. My hope is that I could open it up, butterfly it, spread it out, and be able to spread the seasoning over it and roll it back up and tie it back up. So we're hoping for the best here. I'm going to cut the string, but we're going to keep the string because we're using the string to tie it back up. I don't have butcher's twine in my kitchen. If you do, then you could go ahead and discard the string, but I'll be keeping it because, like I said, I don't have it. So, just gonna kind of cut it carefully here. We're gonna reuse this. I'm really hoping for the best here. Okay, so I did not know that this had a sort of a casing that was holding the pieces of meat together. This is news to me. So this is first part of the experiment here. That's throwing a little curveball. So instead of ending up with one, I guess, piece of breast, what I have is like these chunks of meat here to deal with. So let's see how best we could, put this back together and make it form into, something close to what we had before. All right, so we have this piece here. The next piece of breast here. But we have like one kind of major piece here that we could work with as the base. So I'm just gonna move these other pieces aside. I'm gonna use the knife to butterfly it. You wanna use a sharp knife to do this. And again, this is my very first time doing this, so you're coming along with me for this journey. I don't have any butchering skills or anything like that, so, bear with me here. The challenge is how we're gonna get it to stay together and roll back up. That would be the biggest challenge. But you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we reach it. So I add in the pesto here. I'll spread it all over. Now, I'm going to try to roll this back up, try to form it into something looking like, I don't know, a log. You see? This is very messy work. All right, so it's clear that we will not be able to get it back into like a shape that we had it before, but I have an idea. I have an idea on what we could do. I have a real good idea. I just need to wash my hands and then I'll get back to it. But I have an idea in my head here of how we could salvage this. All right, so how are we going to salvage this? My bright idea is to use this non-stick foil that I have here and wrap it in it so to maintain that shape. So I'm gonna try to, I guess, slide it on. How am I gonna do this? I'll move this back closer to me. Try to slide it onto the foil Now, if I had known that this was going to happen, I'd have just laid on the foil to begin with. And, you know, it would have been okay, it would have been easy. But I had no idea that this was going to happen, so here we are. All right. And not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Not too bad. Not too bad. We didn't do too bad here. And you would notice that I did not put any salt in this, and that's because these turkey breasts come in a brine. They come pre-brined, so they will have a considerable amount of salt in it already. So I wouldn't add any salt to this. I would just bake it as is, cook it as is with the additional flavorings and seasonings. And if by the end of the cooking process, after it finish roast, if it needs additional salt, then you can just, sprinkle some salt in it when you're serving it. But I would say err on the side of caution and not add any additional salt to this at all. So yeah, we end up with a kind of big hunk of meat here, but I'm going to try to wrap it tight so that it kind of maintains some semblance of a decent shape. So again, I'm going to, actually I don't even going to wash my hands. Some semblance of a decent shape, so I'm going to pull that like this, wrap that like that. And I'm going to get another piece and then wrap it again. So let's wash my hands. Just kind of make sure that it's wrapped tightly. One more piece here just to seal it in. So we can't even bother with this because it ain't making no sense at this point to try to cut this to wrap it back up. You'll just have to go with whatever shape that it ends up in during the baking process. I guess it come like a kind of, I don't know, turkey meatloaf kind of vibes. We go see. But definitely because how they pack the meat together to form this roast, I think if you really want to try this, still, right now it's like a train wreck, right? But if you really want to try this, I would say lay down your foil before you cut open the turkey breast. So that'll make wrapping it up a lot easier. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is bake this and we will see what kind of results we get. I'm going to bake this in my oven preheated at 325 degrees for 90 minutes. So here now, while I was thinking about what kind of tray to put it in for it to bake, I actually get an even better idea. I will use this bread pan and try to, fit it into the bread pan so at least it'll hold a decent shape. So I'm just gonna stick this in here, push it down. All right. Okay. All right, so it's stuck in this bread pan, and I'm gonna place this in the oven at 325 degrees for 90 minutes, and we'll see what we get at the end of the roasting process. Wish me luck. Right, so I'm gonna open this up and see what we're looking like. More than likely, I'll have to put it back in to get some color. So I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm gonna drain off some of the juices into this cup here because obviously we don't wanna waste that. Not looking too terrible here. It does look like, I don't know, kind of Frankenstein something going on here. But I am not fearful. I'm going to put this back into the oven to get some color. So it kind of hold the shape together. I had some breaking up and cracking up going on there. I'm going to put it back into the oven for it to get some color. Just going to pour the juices back over it so it doesn't dry out too much while it is getting some nice color on it. So putting this back in the oven uncovered for about 15 to 20 minutes and we'll check on it. All right, so we out of the oven and this kind of looking more like turkey meatloaf than a turkey roulade. So I'm gonna put it out onto this board here and allow it to cool for about half hour before I actually slice into it. So yeah, I'm gonna let this cool for about 20 minutes to half an hour and I'm gonna slice it and see what we're looking like and I don't know, come up with some suggestions of how we could further salvage this train wreck. So yeah, but I mean, you know, nice color. I'm pretty sure it's gonna taste good. It'll taste decent. It's just that the overall thing not very, I would say, appealing to the eye. I mean, what is this? Kind of Frankenstein kind of thing going on here. But you know, small thing. You go make it work. There's a good angle. From this angle, it's looking good. From this angle, it's looking like, you know, looking like something. But from here, it's like, where's this? What is this? You know? But again, I'm sure it'll taste good. So I'm gonna let it cool and then I'll slice into it. Just gonna cut this piece off here. And you can see the inside there. I mean, it ain't looking too bad and too terrible. I'm just gonna give this piece here a taste. Yeah, so I tried it and yeah, the turkey, real flavorful. The ginger, the garlic, pimento, shallot-benny and rosemary. Yeah, definitely doing the most and it's a good thing I didn't add any additional salt because it's salty enough. So yeah, very flavorful, but in the overall presentation, there's not. This is definitely not what I was going for. We end up with more like a turkey meatloaf than the turkey roulade kind of vibes. So not a passing mark. We ain't getting passing marks with this experiment. I'd call this experiment a fail on just the fact that the presentation real off. You can't put this on a dinner table and serve it to people. At least not like this. You had to like cut it up and, I don't know, drizzle some sauce on it or something and try to pretty it up. So yeah, all in all, I would say don't use that turkey breast that comes in the pack to try and do this. If you want to do this, get actual turkey breast, like, you know, butcher a whole turkey, take the breast, and you could, you know, butterfly it and do this with it. But don't try this with the breast in the pack. Failure business, total failure. If this is the first time you're watching the channel, don't let this video be an indication as to whether you should subscribe or not. Most of my recipes just actually come out good or decent. So yeah, don't judge the channel by this video. I have other recipes that actually spot on. So yeah, this is just me experimenting in the kitchen to see what I could come up with, how I could use ingredients in a different way and that kind of thing. So in the nature of experiments, sometimes they, you know, pass, sometimes they fail, sometimes, you know, you get a barely passing grade. So again, please still subscribe if this is your first time on the channel. And for the regular subscribers, as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Later. Mm-hmm.